All right, guys, let's talk about the number one fasting mistake that's quietly sabotaging your fat loss results. I see this over and over again. People are fasting, doing everything right, and still wondering why the scale won't move. They're disciplined, skipping breakfast, going 16, 8, sometimes 24 hours without food and expecting fat to melt off. But the truth is, it's not the fasting that's broken, it's the way you're coming out of it. Here's what most people get wrong. They break their fast with the wrong foods, high carbs, sugars, even so-called healthy smoothies or oats. And the second that food hits your system, insulin spikes. When insulin spikes, fat burning shuts off. You've spent all that time in a fasted state, burning fat, stabilizing energy, lowering inflammation. And within minutes, you switch back into fat storage mode. It's like taking one step forward and two steps back. Now, that's not to say fasting doesn't work. It absolutely does. Fasting is one of the most powerful metabolic tools we have, but the transition, the refeed, that's where most people screw it up. You can't expect to heal your metabolism or lose belly fat if your first bite after a fast sends your blood sugar through the roof. The body needs stability, not chaos, and that stability starts with one key principle: control insulin first. When you break your fast with protein, and I'm talking real protein, not shakes or powders, you send a completely different signal to your metabolism. You keep insulin low, preserve muscle, and extend the fat burning window even after you start eating. Add the right timing and nutrient balance, and fasting becomes unstoppable. So if you've been stuck fasting, dieting, doing all the right things, and you're not seeing results, it's not your willpower. It's not your fasting schedule. It's that your physiology isn't aligned with your goal. The good news, one simple adjustment can flip that switch back on. Let's break down exactly how to fix this. Most people start fasting with the right intentions. They want to lose weight, burn fat, reset their metabolism. And at first, it feels like the perfect strategy. You skip meals, lower calories, and give your body time to use stored fat for fuel. But then, despite all the effort, the progress stalls, the scale stops moving, the belly fat hangs on, and energy crashes hit hard after meals. The truth is, fasting itself isn't failing you. It's what happens after the fast that ruins everything. When you fast, your insulin levels drop, your body becomes more insulin sensitive, and you finally start pulling energy from stored fat. This is the magic of fasting. Low insulin equals fat burning. But the moment you break that fast the wrong way, all of those benefits can vanish in minutes. If you come off a fast with a high carb meal, oatmeal, fruit, bread, smoothies, insulin spikes immediately. That insulin surge doesn't just stop fat burning, it reverses it. Your body flips from fat oxidation to fat storage. See, fasting makes your metabolism more sensitive. That's good. It means your body is more responsive to nutrients. But it also means the first thing you eat matters a lot. When you hit your system with a bunch of carbs right after fasting, you're pouring gasoline on that sensitivity, and not in a good way. Blood sugar shoots up, insulin floods the bloodstream, and your body locks the fat away again. You've just undone hours of disciplined fasting with one meal choice. Overeating is another trap. After fasting, hunger hormones like ghrelin ramp up. Your body's screaming for food, and most people overdo it without realizing it. They pile on big portions, thinking they earned it. But that post-fast overeating creates a massive insulin and calorie surge, and your metabolism can't handle it efficiently. You go from a state of precision and balance to chaos in one sitting. Then there's the opposite problem under eating protein. This one's sneaky. A lot of people come off a fast with a light meal, maybe some soup, a salad, or a few bites of fruit because they want to stay lean or ease back in. But that backfires too. When you don't give your body enough protein, it starts breaking down muscle tissue to compensate. Muscle is what drives your metabolism, keeps you insulin sensitive, and burns calories at rest. Lose muscle, and fat loss becomes harder and harder. Protein isn't just about muscle repair. It's the metabolic anchor of every successful fasting routine. It stabilizes blood sugar, slows digestion, and keeps insulin under control. When you break your fast with protein first, think steak, eggs, fish, you extend the fat burning window instead of shutting it off. Your body stays in a fat adapted state even as you begin eating again. The irony is that most people blame fasting itself when they hit a plateau. They think their window is too short or they need to fast longer. But lengthening the fast doesn't fix the root problem. You can fast 20 hours a day and still not lose fat if you're breaking the fast with foods that spike insulin. The transition, that refeed window, is where the results are made or lost. So what's the fix? Keep it simple. Break your fast with protein and fat, not carbs. Give your metabolism something steady and nutrient-dense: steak, eggs, salmon, maybe some butter or salt for electrolytes. Wait 60 to 90 minutes before adding carbs, if at all. This keeps insulin low, extends the benefits of the fast, and ensures your body stays in a fat-burning state longer. Fasting works best when your refeed works with your physiology, not against it. It's not about starving, it's about timing. The goal is to manage insulin, not spike it. Once you understand that, fasting becomes easy, sustainable, and incredibly effective. You don't have to push your fasts longer or punish yourself with restriction. You just have to align your refeed with the same fat burning logic that fasting is built on. The difference between success and failure isn't the fast, it's what's on the plate when you end it. After a fast, your body enters one of the most metabolically sensitive states it can be in. Insulin is low, blood sugar is stable, and your cells are primed to absorb nutrients efficiently. This is a powerful window. The body is literally rewired to burn fat, repair tissue, and balance hormones. But that sensitivity is a double-edged sword. If you feed it the wrong signal, even a small glucose spike, you can derail fat burning instantly and flip the switch back to storage mode. Insulin is one of the most powerful hormones in the body. It determines whether you're burning or storing energy. During fasting, insulin drops, allowing fat cells to open up and release stored energy. The longer you fast, the more efficient this becomes. But right after the fast ends, your cells are hypersensitive to insulin. It's like a dry sponge ready to soak up whatever you give it. If that whatever happens to be sugar or carbs, the response is massive. Blood glucose shoots up, insulin spikes sharply, and within minutes, your metabolism shifts away from fat burning. Here's what most people don't realize: you don't need a huge cheat meal to cause damage. A banana, a glass of juice, or even healthy oatmeal can be enough to cause a major insulin response after fasting when insulin floods the system. Your body instantly halts lipolysis, the process of breaking down fat for fuel. It's a biochemical on-off switch. Low insulin, you burn fat. High insulin, you store it. It's that simple. The other issue is how this spike affects your brain and appetite. When glucose enters the bloodstream quickly, insulin overcompensates to push it into the cells. Blood sugar then crashes, sometimes within an hour. That crash triggers hunger, cravings, and irritability. You start searching for more food, usually something quick and sweet, just to bring your energy back up. This is how people get trapped in that cycle of post-fast fatigue and overeating. They think they lack discipline, but it's not willpower, it's biochemistry reacting to poor food timing. Fasting trains your body to run on fat, but breaking your fast with carbs retrains it to depend on glucose again. Instead of continuing fat oxidation, your cells switch to burning sugar. Fat burning doesn't just pause, it's completely overridden until insulin drops again, depending on the size of the carb load. That could take several hours. So even if you fasted for 18 or 20 hours, you might only spend a few of those hours truly in fat burning mode if your refeed triggers a large insulin response. There's another hidden consequence: your thyroid and adrenal systems take a hit. That insulin spike after fasting creates a quick cortisol drop, leading to energy crashes and sluggishness. You'll feel tired, foggy, and unmotivated. Then the next day, your hunger ramps up earlier and fasting feels harder. You're now fighting your biology instead of working with it. Over time, this inconsistency confuses your metabolism, blunting the very benefits fasting was supposed to enhance: improved energy, better focus, and steady fat loss. When you choose the wrong first meal, you're teaching your body instability. Instead of calm, consistent fat metabolism, you create highs and lows, insulin surges, cortisol dips, hunger spikes. This is why so many people who fast still struggle with cravings, energy crashes, and slow results. They think fasting isn't working when really it's their first meal that's sabotaging the process. The solution is simple, but it requires discipline and awareness. You have to respect the post-fast window. Treat it like the most important meal of your day. What you eat first dictates what happens for the next 6 to 12 hours. Break your fast with protein and fat, not carbs. Steak, eggs, sardines, or chicken, real nutrient-dense foods that stabilize blood sugar and keep insulin minimal. Add some salt or electrolytes for hydration, and you'll stay sharp, calm, and satisfied for hours. When you do this consistently, your body learns stability. Insulin stays controlled, energy levels remain steady, and your metabolism becomes predictable and efficient. You stop craving sugar because your brain and cells are finally fueled correctly. Fasting becomes easy, sustainable, and powerful, not a struggle. The difference is just one meal, the one that sets the hormonal tone for the rest of your day. Get that right, and fat loss stops being a fight and starts becoming automatic. Breaking your fast isn't just about eating again, it's about setting the metabolic tone for everything that follows. After hours of fasting, your body is hypersensitive to nutrients. Hormones are balanced, insulin is low, and fat oxidation is firing at full speed. What you put in first either keeps that fire burning or extinguishes it. This is why starting your refeed with high quality animal protein and healthy fats is one of the most powerful metabolic strategies you can use. It keeps insulin under control, stabilizes hunger, and sustains fat burning long after your fast ends. When you eat protein first, something incredible happens inside the body. Protein doesn't cause a rapid insulin spike the way carbs do. Instead, it signals satiety hormones, particularly peptide YY and cholecystokinin, to tell your brain you've eaten enough. This means your appetite naturally regulates itself. You don't get that rebound hunger most people feel when they break their fast with carbs or sugary foods. Instead, you feel calm, satisfied, and steady. You're not chasing the next snack an hour later because your body has the building blocks it needs. Protein also has the highest thermic effect of any macronutrient. That means your body burns more calories digesting and metabolizing protein than it does for fat or carbs. Roughly 20-30% of the calories from protein are burned just through the process of breaking it down. So when you start your refeed with protein, you're not just stabilizing insulin, you're actively boosting metabolism. It's like keeping the metabolic engine humming instead of letting it idle. Now, pair that protein with healthy animal fats, the kind you get from eggs, steak, salmon, or butter, and you create a hormonal balance that supports steady energy. Dietary fat has almost no effect on insulin, which means you can eat it without disrupting the fat burning environment you built during your fast. It slows digestion just enough to keep you full for hours, prevents glucose spikes, and gives your cells a steady stream of fuel. This combination of protein and fat keeps your body in a low insulin, high metabolic state, the exact condition you want after fasting. The science behind this comes down to how your body prioritizes energy. After a fast, your body is primed to absorb nutrients efficiently. If you flood it with carbs, insulin rushes in to store that glucose as glycogen and fat. But when you start with protein and fat, insulin stays quiet and your body continues to use fat as its main energy source. This extends the fat burning window by several hours and helps maintain metabolic flexibility, your body's ability to switch smoothly between burning fat and glucose. Another key point: protein. First, refeeding helps preserve lean muscle. After fasting, your body needs amino acids to repair tissue and maintain muscle mass. If you skip protein or eat too little, your body starts breaking down muscle to meet those needs. That's a fast track to a slower metabolism. The more muscle you lose, the fewer calories you burn at rest. But when you reintroduce protein first, you feed your muscles exactly what they need. You signal to the body, we're not starving, we're rebuilding. That keeps your metabolism high, your energy stable, and your fat burning machinery intact. This also explains why people who break their fasts with carbs often feel exhausted afterward. That glucose spike triggers insulin, blood sugar crashes, and cortisol fluctuations, leaving you groggy, hungry, and irritable. In contrast, a protein first meal keeps your nervous system calm. Your brain gets a steady supply of amino acids like tyrosine and tryptophan, which support dopamine and serotonin, the neurotransmitters behind focus and mood. You feel sharp, not sluggish. It's not complicated, but it requires intention. You don't need supplements or complex meal plans. Just real food, steak, eggs, fish, lamb, even ground beef with some natural fat from butter, tallow, or egg yolks. Eat until you're comfortably full. Then wait an hour or two before introducing any carbs if you choose to. By doing this, you extend the benefits of fasting rather than undoing them. Fasting isn't magic by itself. It's the way you transition out of it that creates the real transformation. Starting your meal with protein and fat is how you tell your body to stay in control. It's how you stabilize insulin, prevent rebound hunger, and keep your metabolism running efficiently. When you break your fast this way, you don't just eat, you reset. After fasting, your body is in a state of heightened sensitivity. Every cell is listening, waiting for direction. The first nutrients you feed it determine whether you stay in a fat burning state or shift back into storage mode. This is where protein timing becomes crucial. Eating high quality animal protein shortly after breaking your fast does more than stop hunger. It preserves lean muscle, enhances mitochondrial efficiency, and extends your fat burning window for hours beyond your meal. When you've been fasting, your body relies heavily on fat and ketones for energy. Insulin is low, growth hormone is elevated, and your cells are primed for repair. But once you reintroduce food, the clock starts ticking. What you eat and when signals to your metabolism how to behave next. If you delay protein intake or replace it with carbs, your body senses nutrient imbalance. It'll break down muscle tissue to obtain the amino acids it needs, slowing down your metabolism in the process. Muscle is metabolically active tissue. It burns calories even at rest. Lose it and your metabolic rate drops. Preserve it and you keep burning fat efficiently all day. Timing matters because protein post-fast has a unique anabolic window. After a prolonged fasting period, your body's muscle protein synthesis machinery becomes hypersensitive to amino acids, particularly leucine, the key trigger for muscle repair and growth. When you eat protein immediately after your fast, you maximize this effect. You're giving your muscles exactly what they need at the perfect time. Wait too long or undereat protein, and that window begins to close, reducing your ability to preserve lean tissue and maintain metabolic efficiency. The quality of the protein is just as important as the timing. Animal proteins, beef, eggs, fish, lamb, provide the full spectrum of essential amino acids in the right ratios your body can actually use. Plant proteins simply can't match that biological value. The amino acids in animal protein not only rebuild muscle, but also drive mitochondrial biogenesis, the creation of new, more efficient mitochondria. These mitochondria are your cellular powerhouses, converting fat and nutrients into usable energy. The more mitochondria you have and the better they function, the higher your metabolic output. You become what's called metabolically flexible, able to burn fat or glucose on demand. After fasting, when mitochondria are already upregulated, feeding them high quality protein amplifies their performance even more. The amino acids in protein stimulate pathways like MTR and PGC1, two key drivers of muscle repair and mitochondrial health. This combination keeps your metabolism running high, your energy stable, and your fat oxidation continuous. When you pair that with dietary fat from whole animal sources, you give your mitochondria the perfect dual fuel system, amino acids for structure and fat for energy. Another benefit of protein timing is its impact on insulin and glucose control. When protein comes first, Insulin rises only slightly, just enough to allow nutrients into the cells without shutting down fat burning completely. This modest response helps you stay in a partial fat burning state even as you refuel. Studies show that eating protein early in a meal can lower the blood glucose response to subsequent foods. That means if you add carbs later, your body handles them more efficiently with less of an insulin surge. In practical terms, you're staying leaner, maintaining better energy, and avoiding post-meal fatigue. Eating protein post-fast also extends satiety for hours. Hormones like leptin, ghrelin, and peptide YY all respond positively when protein is prioritized. Your brain gets the signal that you're nourished, not deprived. This prevents the common overeating that happens after fasting. You stay full, focused, and calm without the blood sugar roller coaster that comes from carb-heavy meals. If you get this right, high quality animal protein eaten promptly after your fast, you extend your metabolic efficiency well into the next feeding window. Your body keeps burning fat as you move through your day while your muscle mass stays intact and your energy remains stable. It's a feedback loop. Better protein timing leads to stronger mitochondria. Stronger mitochondria lead to better energy output, and better energy output leads to more fat burned effortlessly. This is why fasting and protein go hand in hand. Fasting primes the system, protein seals the deal. It locks in the benefits, stabilizes metabolism, and prevents the rebound effects that derail most people. When you respect the timing and quality of protein intake after a fast, you're not just ending a fast, you're optimizing your physiology for the next phase of performance and fat burning. Breaking a fast isn't about eating anything after waiting long enough. It's about feeding your body in a way that amplifies what the fast just accomplished. You spend hours lowering insulin, burning fat, and resetting metabolism. The moment you eat, you decide whether to extend that fat burning window or shut it off instantly. The fix is simple: master your post-fast meal. It's not complicated, but it has to be intentional. The right balance of protein and fat with zero unnecessary carbs keeps you burning fat, preserves muscle, and locks in clean, steady energy for hours. After fasting, your body is like a sponge. Nutrient sensitivity is high. Insulin, ghrelin, and leptin are all primed to respond. This is the window where most people go wrong. They break their fast with carbs, fruit, smoothies, or oatmeal, thinking they're being healthy. But carbs after fasting cause an immediate insulin spike. You go from fat burning to fat storing in minutes. The goal is to delay that insulin rise as long as possible while giving your body the nutrients it actually needs: amino acids and healthy fats. The ideal post-fast ratio is roughly 101 protein to fat by calories, enough fat to support hormones and satiety, but enough protein to preserve lean mass and keep the metabolism running. For example, if you eat 50 grams of protein, aim for 40-60 grams of fat alongside it. That's not as much as it sounds. A ribeye steak or a few eggs cooked in butter already hits this balance perfectly. Fat keeps the meal slow digesting, sustaining energy for hours, while protein triggers muscle repair and thermogenesis, the body's process of generating heat and burning calories. What should you avoid? Anything that spikes insulin. That means no fruit, no smoothies, no protein shakes, and absolutely no carbs in your first meal. Liquid calories are one of the biggest mistakes, even if they're labeled healthy. They hit your system fast, causing a glucose rise before your digestive hormones can catch up. Processed snacks, protein bars, and nut butters are also common traps. They combine sugar with fat, the worst combo for fat loss. If your goal is to stay in fat burning mode, you have to keep that post-fast meal clean. Real food, one plate, no extras. The best post-fast meals are simple and nutrient-dense. Think ribeye steak with butter, eggs with sardines, salmon with yolks and salt, or ground beef with melted tallow. These meals hit the sweet spot: high protein, moderate fat, and nearly zero carbs. They don't trigger cravings, they stabilize blood sugar, and they keep energy high without caffeine or sugar crashes. For those who prefer variety, lamb chops, chicken thighs with skin, or even beef liver can work beautifully. Each provides complete amino acids and natural fat that support hormones like testosterone and leptin, keeping your metabolism humming. If you're new to fasting or transitioning from a standard diet, start small. Break your fast with 40 to 50 grams of protein and 30, 40 grams of fat. Wait 60 to 90 minutes before eating again if you're still hungry. This teaches your body to process the meal fully before adding more fuel. Over time, you'll notice that one meal keeps you satisfied for several hours because your body has learned to rely on stored fat for energy rather than constantly demanding sugar. Another tip, add salt. After fasting, electrolytes drop, and this can cause fatigue or lightheadedness, especially when you eat protein. A pinch of sea salt or mineral salt before or during your meal keeps sodium balanced and supports digestion. Hydration and electrolytes make a massive difference in how your body handles that refeed transition. The beauty of this method is its simplicity. You don't need fancy recipes, supplements, or meal replacements. You just need to understand physiology. Protein and fat keep insulin steady, maintain muscle, and fuel mitochondria, the energy engines in your cells. Carbs flip the opposite switch. That's why the first bite matters more than anything else you do. When you master this post-fast structure, fasting stops being a guessing game. Your energy becomes predictable. Hunger fades, fat loss accelerates. You feel sharper, more focused, and stronger, not drained. This is exactly how fasting was meant to work, not as punishment, but as a precise tool for metabolic control. Break your fast with real protein, real fat, and no junk, and you'll discover how powerful fasting can actually be when it's done right. If you want fasting to work the way it's supposed to, steady fat loss, stable energy, no crashes, you have to do it strategically. The science is solid, but the application is where most people stumble. When you understand how to structure your fasts, how to hydrate properly, and how to refeed intelligently, you'll finally see consistent results instead of spinning your wheels. This isn't about suffering through long fasts or counting calories. It's about precision, rhythm, and feeding your body exactly what it needs when it needs it. Let's start with the fasting duration. Most people see optimal results in the 16 to 20 hour range. 16 hours gives your body time to deplete glycogen and shift into fat burning. Extending that to 18 or 20 hours deepens fat oxidation and promotes more cellular repair. You don't need to push it to extremes. Longer fasts don't necessarily mean faster fat loss. They just increase the chance of fatigue, overeating, or hormonal imbalance. The key is consistency. Fasting the same length most days teaches your metabolism predictability. Over time, your body adapts to that schedule, making fat burning almost automatic. During the fast, hydration and electrolytes are everything. This is where people fail without realizing it. When insulin drops, your kidneys excrete sodium and water more rapidly. That's why you might feel sluggish, lightheaded, or even dizzy during a fast. It's not hunger. It's electrolyte loss. The fix is simple: salt your water. Add a pinch of sea salt or use an electrolyte mix without sugar. Stay hydrated throughout the fast and you'll maintain energy, focus, and blood pressure stability. Black coffee or plain tea is fine, but water and electrolytes should be the foundation. When it's time to break the fast, follow the protein first rule every time. Start with 40 to 60 grams of animal protein and moderate fat. Examples: a ribeye with butter, eggs with sardines, or salmon with yolks. No carbs, no smoothies, no sugar. Eat until satisfied, not stuffed. Give your body an hour to process that meal before adding anything else. That hour keeps insulin low and lets your body fully transition from fasting to feeding without losing its metabolic rhythm. As for refeeding frequency, most people thrive on 1 to 2 meals per day. If you're new to fasting, start with 2. Once your metabolism stabilizes and cravings disappear, 1 solid meal a day can easily sustain you. It's not about starvation, it's about nutrient density. A single steak-based meal with enough fat and salt can give your body everything it needs to function optimally. If you train hard or have higher protein demands, add a second meal 46 hours later, keeping the same protein first structure. The biggest transformation comes from the real world results people see when they apply this consistently. One example is a 42-year-old man who'd been stuck for years doing 18-6 fasting with no progress. He'd fast all day, then break it with rice and chicken. Once he switched to breaking his fast with steak and eggs instead, no carbs for the first 90 minutes, he lost 14 pounds in 6 weeks without extending his fasting window or cutting calories. His energy went up, his sleep improved, and his cravings vanished. Another case, a woman in her 30s dealing with stubborn fat and fatigue. She was doing 16-hour fasts, but breaking them with smoothies, thinking they were healthy. Once she swapped those for a protein, first carnivore-style refeed, salmon, eggs, and salt, her hunger stabilized, her workouts improved, and she finally started dropping body fat steadily. Within 8 weeks, her waist shrank by over 2 inches, and she reported feeling more alert than ever. These aren't extreme diets or quick fixes, they're physiological corrections. By managing insulin, staying hydrated, and feeding with precision, you make fasting work with your body instead of against it. Every fast becomes a tool for resetting your metabolism, not punishing it. The last piece is safety. If you're new to fasting, start slow. Begin with 14-hour fasts and build up gradually. Focus on hydration and electrolytes before worrying about length. Never force longer fasts if your sleep, mood, or performance suffers. That's a sign to pull back and refeed properly. The goal is metabolic resilience, not burnout. Once your body adapts, fasting becomes effortless. You wake up with stable energy, go hours without hunger, and feel sharper throughout the day. When you finally eat, that meal feels earned, nourishing, grounding, and satisfying. It's not about willpower anymore. It's about alignment. Get the timing, hydration, and refeed right, and fasting stops being a struggle. It becomes one of the most powerful metabolic tools you'll ever use.